Got a great question from our community on debt to income ratio and what do you do to go about increasing it, enhancing it, improving it? I'm Kris Krohn here on Limitless TV, and today we're going to break down the science of how you get yourself a real sexy debt to income ratio. All right, there's a lot of people out there that are wanting to know, how do I improve my debt to income ratio? First of all, if you've ever talked to a bank and they threw that language at you, let's just make sure that you understand what it actually means. There's an amount of money that you're making and that's your income. But as you acquire a debt, that revolving debt has payments that are owed. Like if I bought a car and I had a $500 payment, well, I might be making $5,000 a month, but the banks are going to say, yeah, but what's your debt to income ratio? We want to know how much money you really got to play with based on the financial choices that you made. That car is costing you $500 a month, so it's not, even though you're making $5,000, it's more like you got $4,500. Well, but I also have this house payment that's $1,500 a month. Well, then you're not really at $4,500. Now you're more at $3,000, right? And the bank really wants to, they're trying to get to the end of, what do you really have discretionary to play with? They want to know whether you're a good bet. Am I making a good decision? Based on that, you're watching and searching for a video like this. Make sure you subscribe. We got lots of cool real estate topics we talk about here and how ultimately to become financially independent through real estate. But in today's video, let's just really drill down on how you reduce your debt to income ratio. We now know that it's made up of, I can change it in a number of ways. Look at the two levers. I've got my debts and I got my income. So for example, if you pushed and got a raise at work, then your income would go up higher, and if your debts didn't change, then that ratio would change and the banks would say, oh, you've got a better income ratio against your debts. Similarly, you could actually say, wow, you know, I've got 3 credit cards that I'm paying on, and one of them has high interest, and I was just paying them all off together, and as you're paying them down, it'll improve your debt to income ratio. But part of that debt to income ratio that banks will often look at but not tell you is like, what are your interest rates? So you might want to say, oh, I'm going to start snowballing some of my extra money and consolidating my debts by paying off just this one high interest rate credit card. Okay, that's going to improve your debt to income ratio. You might have a philosophy that says, hey, I'm putting away $500 a month in savings, or right now I'm electing to put more money in my 401k. But if you need to improve your debt to income ratio, you can allocate that money to reducing your debt, and that's going to make your income look better to your debt. So ultimately, there's really only 2 levers to pull on. One of them is income. I can make it go up. The other one is my debts, and I got to try to make them go out. And so as you're playing with that, ultimately the goal is, how do I focus my discretionary income on my debts? And if you're going to do that anyway, do it on your high interest debts anyway. And what that'll do is that'll help open up a margin. Now, I want to share something with you as a little bonus material here. When you buy an investment property, oh, the bank's going to say, yep, look at his credit. He's got this other house. Wow, he's got even more debt. But the banks will let you actually take the rental contract income and put it on this side of the fence with your income. So here's what that looks like. If I had $5,000 a month I was making, but then I bought a rental property that was costing me $1,000 a month, my debts went up $1,000. But if I'm renting it for $1,500, my income went from $5,000 to what? $6,500. It'll actually do more than just cancel out. My debt to income ratio can improve as I buy investment property. So if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that you want to get in the investment game and you're trying to get your ratios right so that you can qualify personally for more. And if that's the game that you're playing, then understand that if you can play it well enough to get your first property, that investment property will actually widen the gap and make it easier for your second property, for your third property, for your fourth property. And then you step into a different set of rules, which are how many homes and how many rapid acquisitions will the banks allow you to play by. Now, I just got to throw this out as an additional bonus. If you're watching this and you're like, oh crap, Kris, I did the math. At the rate of my discretionary income and the banks are telling me I need to eliminate $12,000 of debt to get a ratio to buy a house, then you're thinking, wow, I'm only saving up $500 a month I can put to that. That's 24 months. I don't want to wait 2 years. Can I go faster? If you're talking about investment in real estate, you do that through a credit partner, not even a full-on financial partner. A credit partner gets paid maybe 10, 15, 20% for just renting their credit that has already the existing debt to income ratio. And so what's better, waiting 2 years before the bank will let you, or get in on the deal right now, but give away 10, 15, 20% of the profits? If you understand the velocity of money, it's going to make sense every single time to bring on a credit partner. So you're watching this video because you want to know how to game the banks at their system, and you should do that. But just know that the moment you hit a snag that you can't overcome, the good news is that there's ways of dealing with that, which is getting a financial partner, a credit partner, and so there are ways of working around it. Ultimately, work on those two levers and just figure out what's my plan for reducing my debts and what's my plan for increasing my income, and those are the two levers that will help you alter your debt-to-income ratio. I get it, debt-to-income ratio, it's not the sexiest conversation, but you know, in the real game of life and business and industry, there are certain things that you really need to know to make sure you're being as smart and intelligent as possible. There's all sorts of other things that are important to know in that game of real estate, and if you want to work with a professional team that knows the numbers, knows the math, works with a dozen different banks, and can work with more flexible debt-to-income ratio situations, then go ahead and click the link and learn more about my professional team and what we can do to help you rock it out in your investing endeavors.